till I die, Spurs die hard. Tottenham till I die. Tottenham till I die. Tottenham till I die. Spurs die hard. Tottenham till I die. Tottenham till I die, Spurs die hard. Tottenham till I die.
Hello and welcome to the regular Sunday show of Spurs Diehards TTID Tottenham Till I Die. Got a great panel for you tonight and we're going to discuss the World Cup, and if we have time we might discuss a bit about the transfer window, although it's very quiet out there, but there's still a few snippets out there. So I'm not going to hang about. I'm going to introduce you to the guest. Jack, welcome, new debut on the show. I'm sure it'll be the first of many. How are you?
I'm not too bad, mate. Not too bad after watching England win 2-1 yesterday. So got cider in my hand just to celebrate after last night and also now.
And probably tomorrow. Yeah.
And hopefully probably tomorrow. Well, I will be working. I can't be drinking while driving, but if you don't know, it can't hurt anyone, can it?
And Si, he's back. He's back after a bit of an absence because we like to rotate our good guests, but he's been busy in real life. So how are you, Si? How are things in the Bandit Country, Birmingham area?
Yeah, I'm good. Thanks, Adrian. All good, all good. Enjoying this festival of football we've had with this World Cup of 48 teams. So, in honour of it, dressed up as the English version of Ted Lasso, if you want. So, looking forward to the show, Adrian. Looking forward to it.
Welcome back to who are going to be two regulars on the Sunday shows, which is Rain and Harry. How are you, Rain?
I'm very good, thank you. Very good, thank you, Adrian. Yeah, watched the highlights from yesterday a couple of times today. Much more exciting, if I'm honest, than the Argentina game. So yeah, it's all good. It's all good at the moment. At the start of the tournament, I was very pessimistic about England, and just like with Tottenham, I feel like I'm being reeled back in. I've been put on the hook and I'm being pulled back in. Can we? Who knows?
And Harry's his own podcaster, actually. His links in the comments section. If people want to go, should go over there and subscribe. And I'll put it up here as well. Harry, how are you?
I'm very good, thank you. Thank you for having me, as always. And I'm joined by royalty everywhere I look on the panel tonight. So great to be part of an amazing panel and looking forward to getting into it. A lot to talk about, as you said, rightly off air. It's died down a little bit with the transfers with Tottenham, as expected, but plenty of things as always to talk about. That's the thing with Tottenham. And if there isn't already enough with that, of course, with England. And yeah, talking transfers and everything World Cup as well. So looking forward to getting into it. Should be good. And I'm just still delighted after that England win.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot going on behind the scenes, but these things do take time. Right, so where was my first banner? We're going to talk about Norway and England, obviously. England 2, Norway 1. Jack, you've had a few beers, celebrate the game. Do you remember the game?
I'll try my best to recount. Well, I think the first half was a little bit dead, really, wasn't it? And then obviously we're drawing 1-1 at the end of the first half. All I will say is Jude Bellingham, he's going to be one of the Hall of Famers in the midfield for England. After what he's done this whole bloody tournament, he's been so good from the start. Second half, goal disallowed for them, could have easily been Pickens, and then and they had to go into extra time after that. The whole threw into extra time, so everyone was up until about 1 a.m. watching this happen.
Some
And
of us
Jude
stayed
Bellingham,
up
and
to
then
watch the other game as well.
exactly, and then Jude Bellingham again. And then after all that happened, I just thought I easily could have sat there and said to myself, I'm going to watch the other game and just stay up until about 3 o'clock. Then at the same time, that also went into added on extra time after that because it was 1-1 in the 90th minute, and then obviously Argentina managed to score 2 goals right at the end. So, but I decided to tell myself, no, I'm already slumped off enough. I'm going to leave it. I'll look at it in the morning because there's only one fixture that I needed to look at and that I actually cared about, and that was the England one. And we had loads of stuff saying that we won't be able to handle Haaland. Credit to him for not actually turning up yesterday after all the goals that he scored. But to be honest, we didn't really give him that much of a chance, and that was probably the best outcome out of the whole thing. Now, I've said a couple of times now that I thought Dan Burn would play the full 90 minutes, just man mark him as a 6'7" full of muscle and 9 fingers, but we didn't play him at all. We played 3 centre backs with Konza in right back, which I thought was a little bit weird at the start. But I think another player to mention, since we're on the Spurs diehards, is Jed Spence. Came on as a substitution, and praise complete. Nothing more than praise can be sent over to him. I think he had 86 passes complete, 86% passes completed. He had 4 out of 4 aerial duels won, or just duels won in general. He almost had a shot. He almost had a decent chance on goal, to be fair. So that substitution was great.
And the penalty.
And the penalty as well. And the penalty. If that was a penalty, that would have been even more scenes than what it already was. But no, they didn't give it in the end. They overturned it, which is quite funny. There's been a lot of, and then obviously right at the end of the game, you've got Alfie Haaland. Well done to Jude Bellingham and the referee. I'm not being funny. You actually used to be a footballer, but the only reason why you're relevant again is because your son plays for Man City. So his opinions don't really matter. And also, if you didn't see, given the broadcast him giving 2 fingers and saying Spence was diving on the floor, that was also another funny thing. Like, you're on live television.
It wasn't a dive.
Yeah,
it wasn't a dive.
No, it wasn't in the slightest. But obviously, the referee didn't see much impeding into it, so it was overturned in the end. And then obviously the second goal, you can clearly see the foul in the build up, and then they were all screaming it's nothing to do with that. And then who was it? I think it was their right back who by the end of the game pulled up with a hamstring injury because he already had one previous. He was putting his hands up like this, saying like, "No, it's nothing there. It's all rigged and all this other stuff." But unless you watch the Argentina-Egypt game, I don't think most of those players know what rigged is, in all fairness. Obviously, that's what everything's going on online at the moment, so I'm not going to go into too much speculation, and don't listen to me about all that stuff because I haven't got a clue about all what the referees are doing and stuff like that. But people like to think they know what's going on, make their own little opinions, and everyone's opinions matter. But I'm not a person who likes to speculate. Not a person in that status at all. But obviously, I've seen what I've seen. Everyone else has seen what they've seen. I agree with some people, and there are some people I don't agree with because most of the time they're just spouting out the shit. So you can't go along with that. But look, I think we had a solid game. Tilshaw had some choice words to say about it at the end, and then ITV then told Bellingham what he said in parts, and then Bellingham had what he had to say. So I don't know if there's a bit of thing on there trying to have the little quarrel between them two and
they love it.
Make an argument. Oh, of course they do. Every news channel loves an argument. It's just something to put in the papers the next day. That's what they're doing. They're creating their own stories because they haven't got enough stories to cover. You know what I mean? So having to do something like that is not only not very professional, it's a bit pathetic from them, in all fairness. But again, I don't want to speculate why they were doing it. Don't want to say why they were doing it. Were they trying to cause arguments? I don't know. But look, we won anyway.
No, the media in general, all they ever want to do is stir the shit, right? That's what they do. We're used to it. Spurs fans, aren't we? We're used to it.
100%, yeah.
Sire,
why can they spend this much? Same thing.
Sire, welcome on the show, mate. What was your take on England-Norway?
It was compared to the previous game against Mexico. It was a bit of chalk and cheese, really, wasn't it? Mexico was such an exciting game, but the Norway game was very slow. And obviously, you know, that was due to the humidity, them playing in Miami. It wasn't, I mean, like, neither team was trying to press because of the heat. For the first, you know, before the goal went in for Norway, it seemed like a chess match. You're watching it, they were just trying to, like, find out what the other one was going to do, who was going to make the first move. But yeah, I mean, in the end, it wasn't a great performance, but in tournaments, that's how you get to the final. You don't play great in every round, do you? So,
no.
Yeah,
I
it was.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't complain, and we've got two world-class players in our England side, haven't we? Harry Kane and Jude Bellingham, two world-class players. If the one isn't performing on the day, the other one usually steps up. So yeah, I think everyone played really well. I've got no. I mean, their disallowed goal was rightly disallowed. It
wouldn't have been disallowed last season before they changed the rules, though.
Yeah, I mean, that's it. Yeah, very true. I mean, but it was a blatant push on Anderson, wasn't it?
Yeah.
He pushed him like terribly hard, Haaland did. But I mean, our penalty was overturned, which I expected as soon as I saw the replay. I mean, Jed, yeah, he didn't dive, but I think he did sort of initiate the contact. I mean, a dive is what the Switzerland player did in the Argentina-Switzerland game. That's a dive, what he got booked for. So, but full credit to Jed Spence, because when he come on, I'm not a big fan of his, I must say, but he played really well when he came off the bench yesterday. Made some good runs. He had a shot that the keeper saved well, and he looked really good in the end. So yeah, I'm just happy and looking forward to and expecting the Argentina game to be a lot more exciting, because Argentina will come at us.
Yeah, we're going to discuss that, and I'm going to discuss why I think England have got a better chance against Argentina than they may have had, you know, than Norway even. And I shall back it with my reasoning as usual. Rain, what was your take on the England game? I mean, I thought the first quarter, I'm going to call it quarters now with this poxy hydration break. I mean, I didn't think it was that great. It looked, because of the heat, it looked like a Premiership game, didn't it? When one team's just there, horseshoe football, over to the left, over to the right, down it. You wanted a man to take them on, and Madueke didn't seem up for it, but at least Gordon did on the other side. We haven't sort of clicked with both wingers, have we? Shared the attacking impetus with both of them.
I need to go and have a look at the numbers, but I think you'll find Madueke put in like 2 or 3 crosses in that first half, and I think Gordon only did one, the one that counted.
Yeah, okay.
The one that came into Jude Bellingham, and I make you absolutely right. You know, this safety first football that seems to become a plague in the Premier League over the last couple of years is not doing us or anybody. Is not doing anybody any favors. I don't think it does the teams any favors. It certainly doesn't do the spectators any favors. You know. And yesterday, as soon as we got, you know, Saka came on and started taking on some of their players and started causing a bit of chaos. I just don't get how we've got to the point where English wingers, their first instinct is to try and cut inside or to pass the ball backwards. Is it direction from the coaches? Is it the way that they're being trained? Actually, I think it is the way they're being trained.
I think it's what you get. It's what you get with inverted wingers. They either want them to cut in, but they don't want to go down to the corner flag because they're on the wrong foot. So you get advantages with inverted wingers, but you also get disadvantages, don't you?
We looked so much better when Saka came on, I thought, to be fair.
Yeah. But the biggest problem, I think, that we had yesterday was that we got massively overconfident in that first half. We had complete control of the game in, as you say, the first quarter. We then had the hydration break, and it's like our players thought they were going to come out and just do exactly the same again. Just pass it around, wait for an opening, see, pass. But Norway had other ideas. And I've seen people get very upset, about the hydration breaks and about the hydration breaks disrupting.
Yeah, they break rhythm.
games.
They break rhythm.
But you know what? It's the same for both bloody teams.
Yeah.
It's the same for both teams. But
although I think the team that's under the cosh welcomes the hydration break, though.
Well, so absolutely. But then if one team uses it and the other team doesn't use it, don't moan about it. Don't moan about it. It's Norway used it to their advantage, and I remember a lot of teams under Ange would very, very deliberately would play very, very defensive football against us for the first 25, 30 minutes. And then they'd go at us. They'd go at us in the last 10 to 15 minutes. So it's not just a hydration break, thing. It's just a point in time that teams are using as right, we're now going to flip and do something else. And the teams that are smart, that are most smart, are the ones that will take most advantage of it and come out the winners. Luckily, we were just better than Norway.
Harry, I mean, a couple of teams in this competition, we seem to start, hold the ball, pass it around, and I think we're stuck in the rhythm of Premier League football, the rhythm of left to right to left, back over again, and all. And yet then, when other teams turn to have a pop, and I mean, Norway played for us quite easily, didn't they? I mean, we still look suspect at the back.
I thought we played poor, to be honest. And while I'm delighted we've got through, we have to improve if we want to win the tournament. It's as simple as that. We have to improve. And, if you don't mind me just touching on it, I thought Tuchel spoke so well post-match. And I honestly believe that any England fans that doubted the appointment or had his doubts, whatever that may have been for, I think he's won every single one of them over. I'd be surprised if he hasn't won anyone over. Just the way he speaks, right? Absolutely no nonsense. I like Southgate. I've had the pleasure of meeting him a couple of times, but he wouldn't have approached it like that. It would have been very like, I can see where you're coming from. But Tuchel's like, no, I'm not having that, actually. And he went for the reports. Why are you talking about mentality? Then he tried to ask again, and he just gave an even angrier, rightly so, response. As someone that wants to work in media, I thought Gabriel Clark, the ITV reporter, was terrible. I know he's got a job of creating the story, but to ask about a mentality thing, if you've watched England for 15 minutes so far this tournament, I think it's crazy to even suggest there's a mentality problem. Then to try and say it again, but in a different way, to say, no, I mean a mentality thing being the problem. Yeah, that's what you said in the first place. I think it's crazy. So Tuchel dealt with that well, and I listened to him and go, you're a winner. And that's why I believe it's coming home, because I think he's a perfectionist. He wants to keep improving. And he's like, no, we will improve. It's not, we could improve. We need be like, great if we can. No, he's like, we will improve. I'll ensure it. And then the way that Jude Bellingham spoke, I know you hear reports of previously, of course he's been left out before, and if there's an issue behind the scenes, but I like the way that Bellingham goes about it. I think it's healthy ego. I think you need that. I think they're trying to create a problem, but I don't believe there is a problem. Simply, both are very ambitious, both are hardworking. So that was good to see, but particularly the way that the Tuchel spoke. But Bellingham scores 2 goals, has a right to say, do you know what? I'm not taking any lectures right now, maybe further down the line. But I just want to say that on that. But I mean, England, I was disappointed, I'll be honest. I think that Norway had plenty of opportunities, or should have been 2-0 up, let's just say. One being with Sorrow through. I think he was England's best player in that first half, because that's a simple pass in my eyes through to Erling Haaland. Of course, it's easy for me to sit here and say that, but I do believe there are opportunities to play the ball in behind. And I back Haaland 1v1 against Jordan Pickford. Pickford's good 1v1, but Haaland, I back him to score that. 2-0 Norway is potentially a different game we're looking at. So in the end, I think we deserved it because of the mentality that we showed once again, because of the resilience, togetherness, and it was a Jude Bellingham show. But I'm not surprised by that, because it's either been a Bellingham or Kane show all through this tournament. They're simply both world class. But Norway out, and as soon as Haaland came off, I was like, oh, we're okay now. And I felt relaxed from that moment in, right? I know you can never say it's over at that point, but I just thought, oh, we've done it. We've done it. And that felt nice. So, no, not the greatest performance, but the best teams find a way where they don't necessarily either deserve it or at their best. And that gives me even more confidence.
Jack, this generated story that's come out after a game's done and dusted about the ball hitting the overhead camera wire and dropping. Have you heard this crap? I mean, are this media that desperate? Creating enough bullshit in a transfer window. I mean, this is just, I mean,
I'm not gonna lie, I have seen this everywhere, and I can't think of any more shit that anyone could spout about a football game. But don't get me wrong, right? I played on many of AstroTurf in my day, where they've got all these curtains on wires, right? So when you see a football hit that, which is genuinely not that easy to hit because of how thin it is, right? When you see it, it will hit it and it will just go straight down. Where in the whole game do you see the ball hit something midair and it just goes directly down onto the floor and just drops out the sky? It fucking doesn't. So it's another thing that they want to create like they obviously want to create their own stories. Again, they're so fucking bored out of their brains that they can't think of anything else but that sort of nitpicking in a way. Like, don't get me wrong, all that's probably happened, right, is someone sliced a ball and it's got a bit of backspin and it's just dropped down. That is probably more or less the likelihood. Or it's got a bit of topspin and it's just dropped down onto the floor. That's probably more the likelihood of what's happened with that ball. But to go on to wherever it was obviously posted, which is fucking everywhere pretty much, and say, oh, it hit the wire and it's gone dropping down. Shut the fuck up. Like, there are some people that are absolute snowflakes and just want to just spout their shit all the time, and then everyone's got to sit there and people will look at it and go, oh, you know what, that does actually look like that. Yeah, it does. But you don't think about the other sort of scenario. You don't think about the other way round. You don't think, oh, someone could have just cut it a bit at a weird angle and it's just gone with the wind and then just dropped down to the floor. Like, and from the people that are reporting it and the people that are echoing it afterwards, there's only one thing I can say, and it's 2 words: grow up. Just grow up.
Well, I remember back in the day when a ball would get stuck in the mud and someone would run and kick it. I'm sure Sai does as well, and someone would run in and kick it in and get a lucky goal. Sai, did you watch this Argentina Switzerland?
No, I didn't, Adrian, because I was in work early this morning. So as soon as the England game finished,
I always post highlights of games in the WhatsApp group.
But yeah, I've watched the highlights. I mean, Alvarez, what a strike that was.
That was a goal, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was quality.
But before that, let's praise Bellingham for his goal, because that was a fantastic goal as well. Like, you know.
Oh, Bellingham's first goal. And that was
carry on about the highlights.
Played it into his feet, and it was just the way he just took it past a couple of defenders, and then
that was Gazaresque.
It into the bottom corner was brilliant by Bellingham. But the I tell you what, Argentina, they've struggled the last 3 knockout games, haven't they? They've only just scraped through. I mean, there was the 3 goals in the last 10 minutes or whatever against Egypt. Cape Verde took them to, was it extra time? And then they've gone to extra time with Switzerland. I think we can do the Argies on Wednesday. I think we can. We will. I think we will. Yeah. And as I said earlier as well, I mean, I watched the highlights when I got back from work of this game, and how Switzerland can moan about Briel and Bolo getting sent off, getting a second yellow. That's the most blatant dive I'd ever seen.
He's let his side down badly.
On a yellow, so how can he react like that? And not, it's his own fault. He's let his whole team down there, really.
He let his side down badly on that.
Yeah.
Rain, did you watch the highlights of Switzerland or watch the game?
I watched the highlights, but no, I can't remember his name. The guy who got sent off. The level of immaturity that he showed. Look, mate, you dived. It's as plain as the nose on my face that's what you've done. You've got caught for it. If you think that football is now in the place where you can do that, and you must get a free kick, then you're very, very much mistaken. And I hope you're very, very much mistaken, because the day that football lets something like that slide, and let's face it, we complain about VAR, right? But VAR was one of the reasons that VAR was brought in was to stop these cheating gits from doing stuff like that. Yeah, and they do it all the time. And although we've had VAR now for 5-6 years, it doesn't seem to have stopped it. It needs to stop it because it's ruining for cheating, simulation. Yeah, ruins football more than VAR. So we need to stop it. We need to get it out of the game because it's ridiculous. And it's got to, and it's got to the point where he's almost, poor me. What the hell's going on? He just want to just go up and just give him get on with it.
Yeah, I mean, Harry, I don't know if you watched the highlights or see the game, but I always felt Switzerland. I watched the game, and I always felt Switzerland were in this because they out physicaled like Argentina. We got through with a couple of bits of quality, but and I think it shows a weakness in Argentina. Basically, I think if you go at them, England go at them. I think we've got every chance. Every chance. I think we're winning this game. We'll come to it. But
yeah, I agree with you. I don't want to get too encouraged or kind of expect. I think that's the problem we go expect. But I've been disappointed with Argentina so far this tournament, I'll be honest. But yeah, they would just turn around to me and go, yeah, but we're in the semi-final. And they're absolutely right to say that. But they haven't convinced me that they've got it in them to get to the final. And even if they somehow do, hopefully not, that they can go on and win it. Having said that, it would be typical Argentina to turn up at this point, semi-final when it really does matter. But I watched them last night. I did stay up and I thought, you know what, we're playing them, so I want to see what we're up against. And of course, they amaze me with moments of brilliance. I saw from Alvarez, but that's hardly surprising. Messi comes close, twinkle toes around half the team at one point. But they looked incredibly open. But at the same time, they work so hard to get back. They're flying to tackles. So there'll definitely be a few yellow cards. There could definitely be a few penalties there as well if we play our cards correctly. But the point is, I think Argentina looked very open. And Switzerland, I mean, there's just one moment. I can't remember when it was or who it was, which is really helpful. I know. So apologies about that. They were in on goal. Huge chance. The player just takes 3 or 4 touches. And, I think it was Martinez of Argentina that just flew in and got the block. And I'm just thinking, a bit more quality, right? I think Harry Kane or Bellingham takes that. So that's positive. Don't get me wrong. So Argentina can be beaten. I think they will be beaten on Wednesday. So, yeah, we must improve. Having said that, though, Adrian, I've just mentioned there that we have to improve. If we don't, then it's not a given that we do get past Argentina. Because I think Argentina are a little bit better than Norway. We don't improve.
Tuchel's done his job. If you get through to the semi-final, it's usually anybody's cup like that. Anyone can win. You don't know what's going to happen when the player gets sent off, blah, blah, blah.
This is where you need to raise your game. And I'm absolutely
convinced. No matter what. Obviously, we want more. Because we've been let down before in finals and semis before. So...
But just briefly to end, if you don't mind, I just want to say that I think that Argentina will be better against us than they were the game before. I think that we'll be better as well. So, people have an image in their head, okay, this might be a bit of a low quality semi-final. I actually think both teams will step it up 2 or 3 gears. So the point is, if we put the exact same performance in as we did against Norway, without being negative, we're out. And I'm convinced of that.
Can't remember.
And that's someone who's not been impressed with Argentina.
I can't remember, even when we've won and lost against Argentina, it ever being a bad game. I can't remember it not being a very exciting game when you've been on the edge of your seat, right? Whether we've won or whether we've lost. And
there's going to be goals in it.
We've got a decent record against them, actually.
It's going to be a big test for the weakest area of our team, which I think is the defence. This is going to be the strongest team we've come up against in this tournament. So, I mean, if you can keep them quiet, then, Bellingham and Kane will do the business the other end of the pitch. But our defence does worry me, I've got to be honest.
I will come on and give you my take on it. I mean, Jack, England versus Argentina, I think we can safely say there'll be no low block in this game, which will suit England.
I hope so, to be honest with you. I mean, I'm going to echo everything else that's been said. I haven't been very massively impressed with Argentina. I've actually been more impressed with the referees that officiate their games. But again, conspiracy theories, I'm not going to talk about it. But no, they've had some very decent moments, and we have also had some very decent moments. Now, I don't want to see England play Argentina the way that we played Norway. I want to see England play Argentina the way we played Croatia. like just full on up their arse, getting it up and getting those goals in, like beating Croatia 4-2. And just from looking at it here, it only shows the last couple of games that we played against Argentina. But the last time we played them was 2005. We beat them 3-2, and the time before that we beat them, I think 2-0 after that, and a couple of draws, a loss on the penalties, and then so on and so forth. So to echo that we have a good record against them is definitely correct. I mean, by the time 2005, the last time we played, I was bloody 4 years old. I'm 20 years off that now. So I've never seen us play Argentina ever in a World Cup. So this will be the first one for me. But yeah, I want to see more of the willingness and mentality that I saw against Croatia in the first opening game. Like, everyone was so up our arse thinking we weren't going to beat them because of how much of a bogey team they are for us. But then we go and spank them 4-2. And obviously the rest is history, and now we're in the semi-finals. So obviously there's a couple of games with England where I've been very, very sceptical of it. But we've somehow always managed to come out on top. Now it's either sometimes a bit of Kane excellence or a bit of Bellingham brilliance, but we can't just rely on those two players. We need to have everyone else there. Sometimes I had a very bad quarrel with Anthony Gordon the first couple of games in the group stage because I think it was going too much to his head that he's now a Barcelona player, and he was trying to do a little bit too much, and that obviously got him benched. But I've been much happier the last couple of games with him. Like he pretty much gave us the 2 goals the other day, and then won the penalty as well. And yesterday he put in one corner, well, one cross even. That was pretty much a pivotal cross where Madueke had 3 and did nothing all with it, and that was the only crosses he had, and that was in the first half. Now, there's a couple of players I want to see more of, especially from the start of this tournament. Like, I want to see a slight bit more of Rashford. He can be a little bit hit and miss half the time, but he's had an amazing year with Barcelona. And I want to see a slightly more of him. Morgan Rogers as well, when he came on, he had a spark of brilliance, took a massive pot shot. Their goalkeeper spilled it, and then Bellingham scored the second one. So he had a lot of input in the second goal as well, as much as it was a shot and not a pass, but he definitely had a massive input. And all the other substitutions, like Saka came on in the second half and had 5 crosses, which is 2 more than all the ones that only had 3, and that's including Madueke as well. So
I like the fact that even Ian Wright, being an Arsenal man and what a footballer he was a great goal scorer. When he talks about Eze, he said Eze has his moments. You can read between the lines in that saying, can't you? Because like, he can be brilliant, but we moan about our players being inconsistent, but he's got to do more if he gets a chance as well.
Oh, 100%. And I mean, he talks about Eze has his moments. I think the only moments he had last year was against a team that he almost fucking joined. And that's when he scored. That's when he scored his only goal in the Premier League at that point, realistically. So, but I get it from Ian Wright's perspective. He's not really talking as Arsenal at the moment. He's talking as England. But this is the most amount we've seen of Eze is during the Premier League when he first signed for Arsenal. So I can see what he's saying, and I can't really echo that because you can't just be a moments player. You've got to be an all-round game player. We can't just rely on these moments. We've had many moments this whole tournament, but we can't just rely on them. We have to rely on the full 90 minutes, plus if we get another half hour added time. So it's not the best thing to say, but it's also not the worst thing to say, if that makes sense, especially from a player of his caliber.
It does. I mean, it's because we know that we haven't really seen England in full flight, and we know there's a lot more from this team. I mean, there's a lot more to come from Rice. He just seemed off it as well, like, you know. And if if our midfield's clicking, Argentina got problems, you know.
Yeah, Declan Rice. I think he'd had an illness or he'd been ill for a couple of days previously.
Has he? Oh, right.
But you could see he wasn't right. Couple his corners, his free kicks that he took that first half. Not one beat the first man really. And that's really unlike Declan Rice. So yeah, it didn't surprise me whatsoever seeing him get substituted at half time. But as you said, bringing Eze on for him meant Bellingham had to drop back, and Eze took the role next to Kane, and he was non-existent for me.
Yeah.
Eberiche is
And also, lads, an informed Saka, he's in this first 11. He starts.
yeah.
So even
We
this
look
is where
different.
we can improve so much. You know, I
That
think.
first half, Madueke had quite a lot of room. They kept like sort of would shift it over, then we'd do the diagonal over to him, and but he wouldn't do anything with it. And I was surprised to see him start because I thought Saka against Mexico, he played really well. I thought he played well, and so did Gordon. So I mean, seeing Gordon start, I think that was the right decision. But for me, against Argentina, we have to have Saka in from the start, not Madueke, 100%. And hopefully Declan Rice will be fit, because you want Bellingham up there with Kane. You don't want Eze playing next to Kane. It has to be Bellingham.
Yeah. Right, I'm going to come to you with this, Ban Rain. Argentina are the oldest World Cup team since 1962. Do you think that's going to have do you think that's going to have a bearing on Wednesday's game? I do.
No. I mean, I don't think it's going to have a bearing one way or another. I think obviously there's going to be benefits and drawbacks. Question was asked in chat. Where is the game? Because it is important, isn't it?
I'm going to come to that in the next banner in the chat. Yeah, I don't want. We just want to go with this at the moment. Yeah, and I'll tell you why I'm coming up with the banner.
Well, I mean, it is important. It's relevant, isn't it? Because with age,
we'll combine it then.
With age comes stamina,
right?
And
I'll combine it with this banner, Rain, because then you can add to it. This is why I think England have got a great chance. Right now, they're the oldest team, plus England Atlanta in the fully air-conditioned stadium in Atlanta, Georgia, Wednesday at 8:00. Right? I think the fact that it's fully air-conditioned really plays to Premier League style of football. Now, come back at me now.
And that's actually where I was going to go.
Right,
is I've heard a lot of. I've seen Argentina, and they've kind of just made their way through. Very similar to us. Let's be brutally honest. We pulled up no trees, and Argentina are very much the same, and they're quite clearly a team that is built around making opportunities for Messi. And Alvarez, if Alvarez is going to chip in, then all good. But the fact that it's in this did we play there? We must have played there. It's an amazing stadium. This Mercedes Stadium, it's absolutely incredible. And the fact that it's air conditioned means that you don't have to worry about the we won't have to worry about the heat, but then their old guys aren't going to have to worry about the heat either. I think this could very well be, especially when you consider how many. This is actually where you've tagged me exactly where I was going to go, Adrian. I think this could very well be a very Premier League game, because if you look at the number of Premier League players in the Argentina team, especially the influential ones like Romero, like Enzo, then I do see them sort of matching up against us in that way. It's going to be really, really interesting tactically how these two teams square up to each other, because we play horseshoe football. And I think that might suit Argentina. I think Argentina might love that, because I think if they can break on us, and we've shown that we're quite vulnerable to the break. Our defense is not the best when it comes to being broken on. We made quite a few mistakes yesterday. We were quite lucky with that Stones pass inside our own penalty area. That just went behind Haaland, didn't it?
And when the winner didn't put the ball through to Haaland as well.
If that pass had been a foot the other way, it wouldn't have been in Haaland's feet, but he would have been able to get to it And as soon as he's on the ball in the penalty area, you know that he's going to get a shot on target at least, and it's probably going to go in. So we made quite a few errors, and we do look quite dodgy in the back, except when towards the end of games we've been getting Burns on and our boy Spence coming on. So it will be interesting to see what does Tuchel do. I'm wondering if Tuchel is going to start Spence.
Yeah, we'll see. Harry, Argentina, oldest team since 1962. We see the way the Swiss were very physical against them and got through them. All right, probably didn't have the quality to get the goals they needed. But in an air-conditioned stadium, I mean, I'd take them signs as pluses for England going into this game personally. I mean, what's your take on it?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't like to look into these things too much, to be honest. I think the performance, more than anything, is important if you go into it with the wrong attitude, which I don't think we will and have done at all so far necessarily this tournament. Then that's the problem we've got. But yeah, I think it suits England. I think it's okay. And all of a sudden, I think we're in quite a nice position to win this World Cup, right? We've still got a lot of work to do in what will be two incredibly tough games, right? Of course, not knowing if we beat Argentina, who we're facing in the final between France or Spain. I personally believe that actually Spain will win that, and I think that benefits England a little bit more. Because I think France.
We're going to talk about that after we've discussed.
Sorry, I've jumped the gun. No, okay. I'll go on a tangent. England, Argentina. I'm looking forward to it for many different reasons, Adrian. But yes, you're right to mention it does suit England for sure. I think again we've got to get the lineup right. We've got to perform up here. It was mentioned earlier, and I think by Simon, correct me if I'm wrong, is absolutely right. The likes of Declan Rice, Tuchel was saying that he's had 3 straight days in bed of about 75 hours, 80 hours in bed in the week. That's an awful lot back to back. So will he be okay to start this game? We hope so. I hate to say it as a Spurs fan, but he's key to the England team. We cope without him, don't get me wrong, but he's also key by the same token. So yeah, the lineup's got to be right. We've got to perform, but the conditions definitely suit England. But I don't want them to think about this. If anything, I don't want these players to know that the conditions suit them, because that's when you maybe, who knows, but could think as a player, okay, we've got this in the bag. We don't want any of that. We want them to go, we're going to, we need to probably work hard for this. That's what the thinking to be. And, two fingers up to the ITV reporter as well, who suggests mentality problems. Let's go and prove that there's no mentality problem whatsoever. There certainly hasn't been so far.
Jack, I mean, I think this is a game where, and actually Ray made a good point with Spence, and the reason that it clicked a nerve with me is because if you can go hell for leather, English-style Premier League football, I don't know how our 4 fastest wingers are, but I'm playing the 2 fastest, and I'm seriously considering putting Spence in the side because of his pace.
Oh, in this situation where it's air-conned and it literally fits every single player bar a few that hasn't played in the Premier League, and I personally echo everything else, and it's a no-brainer. To be fair, like Jed Spence has been pretty much one of our decent players for the last couple of years. And he's been really, really good in this tournament coming off the bench. But in this scenario, I don't think bringing him on from the bench is the best play here for Tuchel. I think we need to have him starting. And then if he needs to be taken off at the end of it, then he needs to be taken off at the end of it. But I can't see why he'll bench him. Yeah, he has obviously Tuchel has voiced his opinions against Jed Spence, and he's definitely thrown a lot of his anger and everything else but towards Jed Spence. But the last couple of games come off the bench, he's been absolutely phenomenal, and you can see it all on social media. Everyone echoing that, saying this man needs to have some sort of praise. And I don't see how Tuchel isn't really giving him that. Like, don't get me wrong, he's had his moments where he hasn't played very well, but he's had his moments where he's played really, really well. But in this situation, you can't not play him, especially when he is so adapt to this scenario. I was very confused why he played Konza in right back and didn't just play on Jed Spence. But obviously, it did work out in the end, because bringing on Jed Spence at that time definitely was beneficial for England. But in this situation, he's not a person that you need to bring off the bench. You need to put in we haven't had a proper 11 this whole tournament. He's chopped and changed in every single game, from what I remember correctly. So, but he needs to find his 11 that he's going to play Argentina in a stadium where it is suited for the Premier League players, and well suited for pretty much every player on the bench plus in the starting 11. And he needs to go all out with this. He can't just he can't let his quarrels with certain players get in the way of this one. He needs to just play his best 11, play play in the way that the best they possibly can, and get through this game like we have every other game.
There's been a lot of debate about Spence, Si. I mean, consistency is an issue with me, right? And decision making, when to go, when to stay, because he did originally start out as a winger and was converted to a fullback. But I see, I mean, I hope he goes on to be like a Kyle Walker. I see similarities in the fact that when Kyle Walker first came to our club, he would get caught upfield when teams attacked us and scored at our end. He hadn't matured or got the nous right to know where to be. His positional play wasn't great. Loads of pace, but his positional play wasn't great, which is critical for a defender. And let's be fair, if you're a defender, you're in the team to defend. If you're a wing back who thinks they're absolved of defensive responsibilities, I don't want you in my team, right? Because first thing you've got to be able to do is defend. And I was very harshly critical of Porro when he first came to the club, especially in the first two games to Leicester away and Newcastle. It was a nightmare. I thought, what have we got here? But I've warmed to him now, right, if used properly. So with Spence, I've seen Tuchel scream at him as well. I mean, I just want to see. Just want to see if he stays at Spurs. Deserby, see what Deserby's going to get a tune out of all these players. Some of them who we've written off. You know what I mean? So we have to wait and see on that response. But
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we see Spence leave in the summer. There's a lot of talk already, isn't there? But I don't think he's going to come to a point now. He's been at a World Cup. He's going to want to be playing regularly. And he's not going to get in front of Porro, in my opinion. He's nowhere near on the level of Porro. Regarding England with him, I mean, I echo what Jack said. I was surprised at first to see Konsa playing right back yesterday. He had played there for Villa a couple of times before. But then I started to look a bit more into it, and I thought, is it so we could get John Stones and Gaya in the centre of defence? Because obviously they know Haaland's game inside out, been at the same club as him. So that's why I thought that was the reason why Konsa was at right back. But for the Argentina game, we cannot do that. We need, if Reece James is fit, he'll play Reece James there. I'm pretty certain of that. But if he's not, Jed Spencer's got to play there because we've got no other right back alternative. I don't think he'll play left back. I think O'Reilly's done, been steady enough at left back and looks pretty good there. So if Spencer's going to play, it'll be right back against the Argies, I think. But it all depends on, obviously, Reece James come on yesterday. It depends what his fitness is like for the game, in my opinion.
Well, we've got to trust Paul. Go on, Ryan. Go on.
Adrian, can I need to say something about Jed Spence. I've had quite a few chatters with people today, and
I heard some of them. Yeah.
and I got in trouble with some people for expressing an opinion. That we have to get on board with the fact that Jed Spence is a very, very good defensive fullback. Now, yesterday he got into the penalty area. I can't remember the last time he got into the penalty area like that, right? And he generally plays on my side, White Hart Lane, because he generally plays on the left hand side. The Jed Spence that I know, and that I've got so much information on. Doesn't cross the ball. He didn't cross the ball yesterday, by the way. Passes the ball backwards a lot. He's a very, very good defensive footballer. And actually, if you look at his performance yesterday and go back and actually have a look at it, and yes, he was fantastic. He showed energy. He showed running. He showed pace. He was absolutely dogged. But it was all one-on-ones. It was all running without an output. so running without passing to another player.
Mhm.
This does not sort of slip by coaches like Tuchel. They notice these things, that when the player is not getting forwards. There's a reason why Kwanzaa is starting ahead of Spence, and that's because Kwanzaa will get forward a little bit and will interact with the right winger. And unfortunately, I don't know why. I don't know. It's, I'm not criticizing. I'm not saying he's a bad player, but Jed Spence doesn't interact with the winger very, very well. He hasn't at Spurs, and in his time at England, he hasn't at England. He comes on and he does a really, really cracking job. And maybe against Argentina, maybe we need him to come on and just do that defensive job. But I'm in the same place as Sai. It's Sai, isn't it?
Yeah.
I wouldn't be if we moved Jed Spence on, who let's is 2025. Is around 24 to 26. I can't remember. 24, 25, or 26. He is who he is. He's not going to change the type of player he is. I wouldn't be averse to Jed Spence being moved on at Tottenham Hotspur.
Okay, before I come to Harry, go on.
Sorry, I'm not diminishing what Spence did when he came on yesterday, because he did look bright and he used his pace and everything when he come off the bench. But the more I don't want to take that away from him, because he come on and he surprised me. But he was coming on and beating these players for pace and going past these players that have started from minute one in a game in Miami where the humidity was about 43 degrees. So they would have been absolutely knackered. And Spencer's come on fresh. So that's, that could be part of the reason why he was, dancing around him and got the penalty. I don't want to diminish what he did, but that to me is part of the reason when I look at it, why I think he had such a good game as well.
Well, we don't know whether Spence or Stay will go, and if you get rid of him, you've got to bring in someone better. I know Neco Williams at Forest has been linked, and Sean Butler. It's great with the stats. He come up with all the stats on that. But my issue is we've got priorities on the forward line. Unless we're doing 3 deals at the same time, get the winger and striker in, and we'll then worry about the fullback. And then if you bring a fullback in, fine, but he's going to want to be promised game time, and the fullback's playing on Porro's side of the pitch. Now, that could work if you do what Pochettino did and rotate his fullbacks every other game. That could work, right? But this is the fun. This is the De Zerbi effect, and this is the fun behind it, because he's going to keep us guessing till he wants in and all that. But before I come to Harry on Spain versus France, there's 240 of you viewing us on various platforms, which is fantastic, So, we pride ourselves at Spurs Diehards and bring you good quality content and keeping the conversation interesting. And we're very fact-based here as well, as you'll see with lots of my banners when you see them, right? So if you like what you're hearing, you can hit that red subscribe button in the bottom right-hand corner. Give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Big up to everyone who's in the chat. If I've got time, I will go through your comments. Big up to everyone watches on playback, and we thank you for your support. Okay, there are memberships if you want them, $1.99. You can put in super chats if you want to. Yeah. So big up, and Harry, you can find Harry's scarf. His link is at the beginning of the show and in the comments section as well. So get over to Harry's scarf's channel as well. The other guys, I don't think I've got their channels, but Harry and Rain are going to be regulars on the Sunday show. Oh, just on that note, we won't be doing a show next Sunday because it is the World Cup final. Okay, so be pointless. I'll be the only person here, I reckon. So with that, back to Harry. Where are we? Spain versus France. The game is in Dallas, hot there, right? Tuesday, 4th of July. It's the day before we play. Harry, Spain have only conceded 1 goal, right? Which is a good sign for any team in a competition, right? Is this a case of irresistible force meets unmovable object?
I like it, Adrian. I like it.
I love it. Very, very good.
I think of these things. Okay.
No, I love it. Very, very good. Yes, to answer your question, it is. I like that. Listen, the goal that Spain conceded, I think they'd be most disappointed with, really, because it afforded a lot of space, and I think the goalkeeper's got to do better. It's as simple as that. So, out of any goal to concede, I think that was avoidable compared to some of the ones that kept out. I thought, how's that not gone in? Or actually defended that very, very well. But I don't know why, but I do think Spain do win this. But let's be crystal clear that this will be Spain's, without stating the obvious, biggest test from a defensive point of view, right? Do I need to even mention some of these, France players? Absolutely incredible, right? I cannot see them keeping a clean sheet. The only reason I think they'll win is, I don't know, I just think France in their head, I think they've almost won it already, and I think potentially Spain, just because of how good they've been defensively, I don't know. I think it'd be a bit of upset almost, not huge, but to say Spain go through, I think a lot of us are thinking, it'd probably be France, but I think we are looking at the best two teams unless England do improve. But no, I think Spain win this, Adrian, but I'm looking forward to seeing it. It's interesting. It's Tuesday night, if I'm not mistaken. The Nas is Wednesday, so we'll know who we're facing, if that has any impact on the game. Always like that. It's quite nice to know, and we can watch them sit back, then go and do our job after that, which is quite a nice position to be in. So, yeah, it'll be a good one for sure, and I don't think it's going to be a battering either way. I think it's going to be tight. It's all going to be about, in my eyes, France attack, France attack, France attack. Can Spain withhold that pressure, which they've done so well so far this tournament? That will be interesting to see. But no, I think we're looking forward to it, Adrian. I don't necessarily have a huge preference on who we do face. Having said that, I back us to beat Spain a little bit more than I do France.
Jack, your take on this game? I mean, the purists. I mean, I'm a bit of a romantic purist because I've watched some cracking Spurs style, and it was a Spurs way of playing football back in the day, right? So I would lean to France because I think, not that I've got any love for the French, but I mean, I'd lean to France because I just think their front four is extra special, But
oh no, I feel the exact same way with this. I mean, I'm in two minds with this game. Realistically, my first mind is for Spain to win, only because they're my sweepstake team that's left, and I kind of want my winning 70 quid, if you know what I mean. But all my second place 30 quid. Who knows which one I'll get? But I kind of want Spain to favour, and also not only for that, but also for Pedro Porro as well, because he's been playing really, really well at this tournament. But on the other hand of it, it's probably going to be France. Like all these games that they've played, none of them have lost. They've either drawn or they've won throughout this whole tournament. Right? These are in the FIFA World Rankings, second and third. Yeah, so these are the top three dogs, and we've England, who are in fourth place, have got to play the top dog of Argentina now. But if you look back at their head-to-head matches, it's mainly been a dominance more of none of them, to be honest with you. They've both been quite fairly equal in wins, going back to what I can see is 1983, where they drew with each other. So it's going to be a massive test for both teams. I wouldn't say they've both had it easy, but I won't say they've both had it hard either. And your banner sums it up quite nicely with the irresistible force meets unmovable objects. That is the correct way of putting it, to be fair. But I can see it going either way. It just depends who turn up on the day. But for France, Elise, Mbappe, Dembele, they're quite an unstoppable force, to be fair.
Desiree Doué.
And Doué. You've also got
not a bad front four.
It's not in the slightest, to be fair with you. And also you got their centre backs. Upamecano's been doing quite well for Bayern Munich, and obviously you've got Saliba. Won't talk much about him. But I don't know how Spain's front three is going to do against theirs, because you've got.
I think Mano Cohn's played well for them as well.
Oh yeah, no, 100%. He definitely has. I didn't even know who he was until I saw him playing in this tournament, and I've actually had a little look at him now, and he's been quite decent for Roma this past year. But going back to the front threes of all that stuff, it's Dani Olmo. The only player that you're really going to be tested by is probably Yamal. You're not going to be tested by Baena, and you're not going to be tested by that striker who I'm not pronouncing his name because it is just diabolical. But you're not going to be massively tested by most of these players. So it's going to be a fun one to watch. Obviously, I'll be at home watching that game. So it's not one that I'm going to go to the pub for. Probably the England game I might do, depending if they're getting a food down by my local. Might get some food and watch the first half there. a couple of beers, and then probably phone in sick the next day. Don't tell my boss, but that might be the case. And hopefully, obviously, if we do get through to Sunday, hopefully I get a day off on Monday. But with how my work goes, I wouldn't be very surprised if I did, or if I didn't, to be fair. But yeah, France and Spain, I can see it going either way. But with the way that they're playing and the way that they played the whole tournament, it's probably going to go France's way, to be fair with you.
Si, from an England perspective, we want extra time and penalties in this game, don't we?
Yeah, to be fair, Adrian, it would be good, wouldn't it? I mean, do we know whereabouts they're playing their semi-final?
Maybe a few red cards as well.
Yeah, that'd be good.
I didn't look that up actually because I didn't want to tempt fate too much. I mean, let's get past. We'll get past Argentina.
I'm looking at it. For me, I can't see past France. Spain are, they're decent. They are a good side, but I don't think they're the side from 4 years ago or even 2 years ago in the Euros. It's just stopping the front four, if you want, really. And the best way, in my opinion, the one thing, the benefit that Spain have got is you need the ball to score, and Spain keep the ball and knock the ball around so well. So it'll be on France to get the ball. But excuse me. They've got Spain have got that young central defender. It's going to be a big test for Spain, 100%. And I just can't see past France in this. And I do believe, unfortunately, that they will go on to win this tournament. I think their weakness is their defence. If you can get at their defence, with Digne, Villa, Upamecano, Bayern. I think that's, if you want to say they've got a weak link in the teams, it is their defence. But you know what I mean? It's great if you score two, but you got to stop their defence from scoring their attack from scoring 4 or 5, because it's just an amazing front forward line they've got. And a big shout out to Elise as well. He looks second to none since he's left Palace. He's just gone. He's world class now. He's just gone sky high. So it's France for me, unfortunately. Adrian. So.
Ryan, I think we all think that Spain will want to control the pace of the game, won't they, to stop the French?
Yeah, they're two really, really balanced teams, aren't they? Except that France are a little bit more balanced, I think, as everyone's saying. You know, they've got a little bit more up front. They've, not only have they got Mbappe as a goal threat, Dembele,
Elise
Barcola, right? We would take all of these wingers, at Tottenham Hotspur. Absolutely would take all of them. But the French are doing something this year which they don't, which they're doing something different this year, something different to what normally trips them up, and they really look like they're playing for each other. You know, you take that as a given with Spain. That's been baked in with Spain for the last 20 years. Ever since they broke out in the 2000s. But this French side, when you see Mbappe squaring the ball for Dembele to score, you know that they're a dangerous team. You know that they're actually going to look out for each other. So the team that I fear most out of these two is France. And I suspect that they should have a little bit too much. However, did anybody else feel that quite a few of these knockout games, that one or the other team hasn't turned up? Like Morocco, I felt like Morocco just did not turn up.
I expected that from them.
Germany.
Did you expect that?
Yeah, I
Did you
would know.
expect
Sorry,
that?
I expected better from them. To be honest, with you, how they've
expected
been so
better.
far this tournament. Yeah, it surprised me.
Yeah, Germany, Holland, you could throw in the mix as well.
Absolutely,
Harry,
there's quite.
yeah, go on, Karen.
Yeah.
Karen. Go on.
No, yeah, absolutely. That's what I was going to say. There's quite a few that just haven't turned up. You know, and Morocco was a good example. The others are as well. And you never know. France have it in them to just not quite turn up. Whereas I think
Senegal were another team I thought might do a bit better.
Am I right in saying that it was France who knocked Morocco out, wasn't it? Was it who knocked Morocco out?
France, yeah.
I've watched so many games.
France,
I can't.
That was. I thought it was France.
Yeah, did they? I mean, I didn't watch the game, but did Morocco sort of change their tactics to try and stem the threat of the
No,
French
I just
attack
think they played
at all?
poor.
They
If I
did
remember
play
correctly, they were
poor.
just poor. Yeah, I think so.
Harry, is this the best international side you've seen since you're watching football? It's not mine, but I mean, is this France side that sexy?
This France side is very, very good, Adrian. Put it that way. It's very scary, right? That attack, for sure. I tell myself that we can score goals if it comes to it in the final. If we're playing them, we can score goals against their defence. That does give me some hope, you know. But you take away Kane and Bellingham, then I have absolutely no hope at all. And behind the sofa. So you know, they will keep me going because I know that they're both simply world class. We have two world class players. They have many, but that's the thing for me. It has to be up here. It's the mentality. It's how you approach a game that is almost as important, not quite, but almost as important as like ultimately what you've got on the pitch. How many times have we seen it with Spurs players, like, you know, without going on, like Ndombele, right? You know, bags of talent, but simply the wrong attitude on the pitch. It didn't work for him. So if France turn up, and it reigns absolutely right in terms of, you know, France have it in them, you know, not to turn up. They think, they dream of that World Cup, and they just kind of, you know, rock up a little bit, start to get annoyed with each other. We've seen if France nearly get dragged into that kind of dirty side of the game by Paraguay, you know, the heads can be maybe turned. You only got to have one lash out, they get a red card, things go downhill for them. So put it this way, if we do win the World Cup, which is what we all hope and dream for, it's not going to be easy. There's going to be bumps in the road along the way. We'll be behind, I'm sure, if one, if not both of the games. And we know that they're all hard games, right? Although I do believe we can get past Argentina. We're not going to thrash them. It's going to be very, very tight. Exactly the same for the final. So it's going to be nervy for sure either way. England will have to be at their best, but none of this like Jordan Pickford, I'm going to leave it. I think it's going to go wide and it goes in. We just can't afford that. Any of this miscommunication and rubbish that we've seen at the back does have to improve. It is now or never. But Adrian, I do have to jump now if that's okay.
No. I see the private chat. I just checked it. Thanks for coming on, and I'll probably see you Sunday fortnight's time because we won't be.
I look forward to it. Hopefully, we talk about it as we've won the World Cup. That'd be amazing.
Okay. Let me come.
Thank you very much.
We're going to move on to a slightly different angle here. Spurs have 4 players at the World Cup: Romero, Senesi, Porro, and Spence. Right now, is their late return a concern for pre-season getting ready? The reason I say that is because the final's on Sunday, the 19th of July. Right now, there's 44 days. A transfer closes 44 days after the final. 6 weeks. We round it off at 6 weeks, right? But any of our players involved in the final are allowed, I think it's 2 or 3 weeks off. And 9 days of this transfer window goes into the new season anyway. So they might only be back. Whoever, we don't know who's going to go through. We could be with Senesi and Romero, might not be back till about 9 days before the season starts. Is this a concern? How do you think that will affect De Zerbi's thinking? Because we're going to plan a lot of pre-season games before these players come back. Difficult question. I'm going to come to you all with this, actually. So.
Yeah, I mean, me personally, Adrian, I think, it could. I think Romero's going to be gone anyhow, so we can take him out of the equation. I do think he will be leaving the club. But, I mean, with Senesi, did he come in, like, after the first game of the tournament? Or because he came in late, didn't he, for Argentina?
He didn't come on yesterday, did he? I can't remember. I had a few drinks like Jack, right? So I don't recall if he came on. I'm not sure if he's had any minutes. He might have had a few. But
no, he has had some minutes. Let me check that from yesterday for you. Hold on 2
He got called into the squad quite late as well, didn't he? because of an injury, I think.
Yeah, the reason I bring a question like this is because De Zerbi, although he's had 7 games with Spurs getting us survived, the players that he's got to work with, he'll be pushing his football philosophy on them. And these ones coming back for whatever positions they're going to play in, they won't have had that. So we've always said before that when you're coming back, and we've done this so many times under Wanker Levy, haven't we? Where like we brought a player in right at the end of the window. The season started virtually. They've had no pre-season. And fans are on their case. They think, well, hang about. I mean, like, these guys aren't in a pre-season. You know, mind you, I'm not defending some of the guys.
Quite often the season had started literally. I mean, Zabi came in. We played 3 games, you know, and we were, you know, we were well underway. 2 games a week, by the way. Back, you know, when he came in, and that's the one saving grace I think this year, Adrian, is that we've only got 1 game, because I make you absolutely right. You know, the fact that we're getting these players in early in the window is absolutely fantastic. If for no other reason than De Zerbi can get them on the pitch, get them on the training pitch, but not only so that they can understand his tactics, but also so they can understand their teammates. Right? It's you know, building those relationships. The sooner that happens, the better, and that happens by playing together, by being together, and pre-season can be a hothouse for that kind of thing. For these guys, I don't see it as a massive problem. Senesi, I don't see the Argentinians as a massive problem, if I'm honest. I see Romero. You know, I'm hoping Romero goes.
I'm hoping he stays. Okay.
Well, yeah, but
that's fair enough.
And Senesi, I'm not expecting to be starting ahead of Van der Ven. So you know, that's by the by.
Porro's already had 7 games with De Zerbi and that, and I don't think he's going to because he's Porro and Spence, so we'd have to play one of them ideally at right back. Neither of them are going to play the first 2 games. I don't think. I think they're both going to miss the first 2 games now with the World Cup. So actually, that's the bigger problem, is the fact that we're not going to have a right back.
Yeah, and the
step forward, Archie Gray.
Yeah.
I don't know. To be honest with you guys, Jack, I don't know where Porro's been brilliant in the World Cup. I mean, some of his crossing was poor, I thought, in the other game, but he had a good game according to the stats. But apart from that, I don't know where he gets the energy from. He's had 1 injury, bulletproof, and how many games has he played for us? You know what I mean?
I'm not being funny touch wood for that, just in case he gets injured during this World Cup, mate. Do not have that.
Yeah.
Can't have that.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, exactly. No, I've loved Porro this whole tournament, and I had a little bit of a quarrel with him when he first came into the club, but he's sort of thrown on me a little bit now, to be fair with you. To go back on your point with Senesi, he was not used in the last game. He was stuck on the bench, stayed there. He's been on the bench since they played Cape Verde. He played 90 minutes against Jordan. That's the only time he's actually come on. He's actually played on the pitch for a full 90 minutes or any minutes at all. So that might be all right in our case, to be fair with you. Obviously, like Ryan was saying, he doesn't start over Mickey Van der Ven. He doesn't start over Romero. And I think if Romero does go, Senesi's not going to start over Van Hecker either, to be fair with you. But no, back to the conversation at hand, to be fair. With when it comes to the first couple of games, we're going to have no right back, and I'm not being funny, and I hope everyone can agree with me. I don't want to see Archie Gray at right back ever again, mate. Like, I'm not that I hate him at right back. He put in a fucking shift, all right, and that's all I'm going to say about that. It's just, I want my players to play their positions, or am I just a little bit anal when it comes to that?
No, I just think if that becomes an issue, I just think you'll see Danso at right back.
Well, that might be the best answer. It's still a defensive player in a defensive role, whether it's right back, centre back, left wing back, left back, whatever. Right, that is still a defender in a defensive role. I don't want to see a centre mid in a defensive role. I don't want to see a winger in a defensive
no, I
role.
get
I want
that.
to see.
But
I want to see my wingers coming back for a defensive role.
When I've seen it in the past, it's been like that. When we've done that, when Gray's been there, if Romero's on the right, you don't see such an adventurous Romero. He sort of covers the player, right?
Exactly.
So you would have that as a caveat, and you'd be pushing more up the left side and through the centre of the pitch. Yeah, but yeah, that could be an issue. A right back, we'll see. I've got confidence in De Zerbi, though. I mean, I don't know if I doubt he'll bring a kid in.
Yeah. I think it'll be a lot worse if we lose Spence. That's one thing I will say. It'll be a lot worse, and I think I've echoed this on Harry's podcast, on loads of different places, wherever. This will be the first time in a while we've had a backup to our fullbacks. Like we've got Ndougie and Robertson, because Ben Davies is still slightly out, even though he's got an 12 months extension, and we've got Porro and Spence on the right hand side. We have backups to our starting fullbacks. Now, if we lose Spence, then we're going to have to get someone else in. Now, I'd rather a player who's like for like or a better fullback than Spence. At this moment in time, I see a lot of things with Nico Williams. He's just not Spence in the slightest. There could be ways that he's better than Spence.
It could even be a case for
worse.
Because he's got the experience. It could even be a case for Robertson playing on the right.
There could be that.
We've got enough cover.
Then you need, but then if we're going to send Suso out on loan,
you got your doggy.
We've got Ndougie, but then and also Ben Davies is still injured. So who do you cover on the left hand side if you're going to bring Robertson over to the right? There's so many questions and so many avenues that we still have to sort of figure out. But what you were saying earlier, we need to, in blunt respect, fuck off the fullbacks for now. We need to focus on that up front section. Now, I'm seeing people in various chats that I'm in and various places. If we lose Bergvall and Spence, that paves the way for Orsar as well. That paves the way for Krupi and all that sort of stuff. We're losing players in different positions, and we're buying players in other positions. Yes, it's good business because you're selling to buy, so you're not losing a lot of money in a sense, in a way. But I'd rather, if a player gets lost in a certain position, I want you to fill that position afterwards. So losing a centre mid and the right back and then filling it with a striker / winger, I don't see the good business in that, because you've now got one less player that you can rotate with someone else. If that makes sense. So I don't know if I'd rather see them both leave to then gain one player,
right?
Because that's one player that plays in one position, whereas two of these players can play in other positions and apart from their own. But that's just how I think about it. I'm not a fan of seeing that, but I am a fan of having people that can play the positions if someone is injured in that position, and we don't really see that very often. We haven't seen it for the last couple of years now, to be honest with you. I mean, we've now filled the centre mid spot that Basuma's left, which, to be fair, wasn't much of a gap to fill, to be honest with you. He had a very crappy season last year. Yes, he won. Yes, he helped us win the Europa League.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan of last year.
I'm grateful for him, but I'm not a fan of doing balloons, and he clearly is a fan. So I let everyone left into it, and he likes being late when everyone else likes being on time. That's to be fair, it echoes Ndombele attitude, where it just stank up everywhere. Like, what's the point of being? Why would you be late to training? Why would you be late to anything else? If you want to get in game time, surely you want to be up the manager's arse and getting there on time and getting your training done and getting a shift in to be able to earn your spot. But he clearly didn't see it that way. But obviously we had to use him in the last couple of games because we had pretty much no one else. So he was used, but obviously when every time a player leaves, thank you for your service, but do your balloon somewhere else in his case. But yeah, not having any right backs for the first two games, we can put people there. Like Mickey van der Ven's playing left back for them for Netherlands this whole tournament, right? So even if you move Ndougie on that right hand side and you put him there, Van Hecker and either Danzo or Senesi, it can still work, if that makes sense.
I've not been impressed with VDV on the left for Holland. I mean, they're out of competition. I mean,
yeah, exactly. That's one of the reasons. But with his pace,
the best time it worked actually when managers switched teams around was when Vertonghen and Toby played both at fullback for Belgium, because they had Vincent Kompany, and who else did they have alongside Kompany? I forget now. And that's why they were so good playing as centre backs, because most wingers will toast a centre back, but they were used to playing out of fullback, so they were good when wingers came at them. You know what I mean? But VDV, no, not a left back for me. But you know, Sai. I mean, De Zerbi did come out and say, yeah, Paulina, great, I want to keep him and all that. And we know managers always pump players up. They should avoid being negative about players or say anything derogatory about them. Keep that in private. But after that, are you confident we will keep Sarr, Bergvall, Tell even?
I'd like to keep Bergvall 100%. Big fan of his. He's got, he's got so much potential to become top draw player, top draw midfielder. Tell, yeah, I mean, he looked okay in some games last season. He looked okay. So if he goes, it's one of those things. Like Jack said, thank you for your service, but I'd be more than happy for him to stay. But the issue for him is, I think, when all our players are fit, if that ever does happen, he's not in the starting 11. And I think he's going to get to that point where he will want to be. And the issue for us next year with players like Bergvall, Tell, is we're only realistically going to be playing once a week. So you're not necessarily going to need to be rotating the players as much, I think. So there's going to be a very much diminished first team opportunities for the other players. But Sarr, I think his time has come for him to move on. I like him and all, but we've just signed Fernandez and Tonali. Surely a midfielder needs to leave. And for me, those last games of De Zerbi, those 7 games at the end of the season, I don't think Sarr really had a look in. Didn't really come on or anything. So I think, I wouldn't be surprised to see Sarr go out the back door and move on to another club where he'll get a lot more game time.
I think fans will be upset if some of their favourites leave. I mean, I was gutted, Rain, when Vaskovic went. I've been following his career so closely. We knows all the videos I've posted and everything like that. But my angst was softened, obviously, by the signings we brought in. We haven't brought in a bad player, in my opinion. And but do you think Sarr, Bergvall and Tell go? I mean, like, they're going to want to play. They're going to want to play. I mean, and until we'll get a winger in, pushes him down the line again, because we bring Savinho in, or I think we're going to get, believe it or not. It's been so we've put all that work in behind the scenes on him. I just think we're going to get him. We might get another winger as well, like Leao on loan, right? We're loan to buy, but for reasons that his attitude is questionable, and he's been involved in incidents at Milan and burnt all his bridges. But so I'll take Leao on a loan to buy only, and then you've got to prove yourself. But do you think Sarr, Bergvall and Tell stay, Rain? I don't.
Sarr, Bergvall and Tell. Well, at the moment, Tell's... Well, let me start with Tell. At the moment, he's our only left winger. So if he goes, we need 2. And at the moment, we're only talking about 1, right? So that's... It may well be the case that Tell wants to go, but... that's dependent on a price being met and an appropriate club coming in for him. In terms of Bergvall and Sarr, I expect them both to leave. Sarr has not kicked on. Sarr's never become the player that we thought that he might become. And unfortunately, some years ago, I think he was probably worth quite a lot of money for us. And now I doubt that we're going to get a lot more than we paid for him, because he's just dropped off that much. And a lot of that's just because he hasn't been played. Last season, I think there was some problem back home. But it always felt like there was something between him and Frank, because he actually played. Do you remember the Man City game? He played in the 10, and he was really, really quick. He was a fundamental reason
The
why
start
we
of the
played
season,
so well
he
then.
was probably one of our best players last season, wasn't he?
And then he just dropped off. And he just dropped off a cliff side. It was just really, really weird.
Yeah, I think it's a bit much expecting kids to perform at the top of their game all the time when you're playing in a crap team.
The problem with Sarr is he's no longer a kid. He's like 24.
Yeah.
So just like
There's
Jed
no
Spence.
shortage of buyers for Sarr. Bournemouth are interesting to tell. Maybe they think they're losing Krupi or something like that. But
Just like Jed Spence, a lot of people think, that they're youngsters. They're not. They should be hitting the prime of their playing days, and they're not. They have not made it, and therefore we need to shift them on. And the club has rightly brought in players who are going to make it.
Yeah.
I think we're going to shift Bergvall on as well, because if I look at the number of central midfielders that we've got, we're just completely overloaded now in terms of central midfielders. Even if we had to.
I know you're very.
Even if we had two games a week, and the clear winner who the club would keep is Gray. He's played so many more minutes than anybody else.
Homegrown as well.
There's more sunk cost in Gray because we paid huge, stupid amount for him to start with. He won, Player of the Season last season, although that doesn't mean anything at Tottenham Hotspur. We're likely to sell.
We shouldn't have had a Player of the Season last season. We shouldn't have had one.
we're likely to sell our top striker for, is it the third or is it the fourth year in a row? To selling out. It'll be the fourth year. Harry, Sonny, Brennan, and Richarlison. Fourth season in a row selling our top striker from the previous our highest. Yeah. So I expect Bergvall to go, and also Bergvall not this upcoming season, but the season after will be non-homegrown, and Archie Gray's.
I did some maths. We've brought in about 84 million on players, so we've actually spent. It's not all paid out in full. We know it's amortised over the length of the contract. Or it can be paid up early if clubs will do that, but no one does that if they don't have to. So you're looking at 5-year, 6-year contracts now, especially on players that are costing you 100 mil. And then with a 2-year add-on, like Xavi's got a 2-year add-on in his contract because we played. And I think that should be the common norm with clubs, not one, because you don't have to take it up. And the player will have proved himself by the time he gets near the end of his contract. So, and I think it's a good safeguard because these contract negotiations for good players, they seem to come at you quick and fast, don't they? To make fans uncomfortable. We're going to keep this player or what? So we've brought in about 84 million on the sales we've brought so far. And so we've laid out, I worked out about 154. That is with Tonali and all that, them added up, right? Because we brought in Senesi as well. How much do you think we're going to bring in for those 3 players? If it's Tel, Sarr and Bergvall, Rain? I know you'll be very conservative.
Well, always better to err on the side of caution. Huh?
Well, we've had 50 offers for Bergvall and apparently turned it down. So
if I'm just going to bring up so I can see it. So I think we'll get 40 plus sell on for Bergvall. I think we'll get our money back on Tel. So I think we'll get somewhere between 25 and 30 million on Tel, although that might be a stretch,
75.
It might be a bit of a stretch, I think. Unfortunately, people have now got his numbers in the Premier League and they're not good. So, whilst we were buying promise, people now have got a couple of years worth of data on him, and they're not. It's not great. And Sarr, I would expect us to be able to get 30, 35 million for Sarr. I would expect us to be able to get that.
You're looking at 110
kind
mil.
of thing.
I actually think we'll get more because it's the demand in the market. No, Spurs fans, they'll devalue everyone. Richie goes, really? Well, we'll get 10, we'll get 5 from his rubbish. Not fine. I don't like, I'll support the player who was at the club, thank him for his contribution. Like, but he's got the touch of a rapist. Like, you know what I mean? It's just like, he's just not good enough, right, for our club, right? But
so striking the Prem as well.
Yeah, but there's no strikers out there. I think, you're getting big money from him. If he went to Saudi, you're probably talking 50 mil or something like, easy. But other than that, I think you get 25, 30 for a Richarlison easy.
I don't see which clubs are beating our door down.
Turkey,
Galatasaray, and let's be clear. Richarlison has definitely been up for sale for the last 2 or 3 years, the last 2 years at least, and nobody has come in and given us the money that he's got 1 year left. I can't see. He's been knocked out of the Brazil squad. I'm not seeing it myself.
Teams need a striker that will get you double-digit goals. Everton, go back there?
No. They're not going to take Richarlison over Beto. Beto is probably a bit better, is much better than Richarlison, to be fair. What you were saying about Galatasaray, if we offer them some money and Richarlison in the deal for Osimhen, I'm not going to say no to it. You know what I mean? That's an avenue. But with what you're saying, there's not a lot of. Again, there is not a lot of strikers out there. There's a lot of free agent players out there. Now, I don't see Vlahovic being
it's like £30 million players. Now you're £50 million player, and you're 50, 60 million players. Now you're 85 to £100 million player in the market. And I just think, they say the world's covered with 72% water, and Sarr covers the rest. Right? The guy's energy, end product questionable, was our best player pre-season under Frank, who then dropped him for some inexplicable reason. But we all know how good Frank was. Right? He's finished as a top-class manager at the football club. So I'm
sorry to say, Adrian, I think what you're saying is 2 years old. I'm sorry, but that's the position that we're in. Sarr barely played last season. He didn't actually play that much the season before.
But if you're talking 50 mil, possibly with add-ons for Bergvall, if we've turned down 50 mil, say 55 or something like that, and if Tell goes, you'll get 35 mil for Tell as a striker. There's none out there, And then you got Sarr. What do you get if we were to go out and replace the Sarr? And then what do you get?
Haven't we technically slightly replaced him with Fernandes and Tonali anyway?
Yeah.
This is just me.
Yeah, but I'm talking about what we get for him. Yeah, I agree with that. I'm glad we have. Don't get me wrong. But
we need those players with experience, but I'm not being funny with Spurs as well. We also need the future as well as that, because Tonali's not even near 30, and I don't know if Tonali's I think he's either 30 or near it, and Matthias Fernandes isn't 26. But Tonali's 26, and then Fernandes is like what? He's younger than him.
21.
21. So Fernandes is future. In now, current and future, because of his age, and Sarr, Bergvall, Viskovic could have definitely been the future. I'm so pissed off with that. I'm not being funny. I was so vocal with it on Harry's podcast with Viskovic. I think it's such a bad decision to lose a prospect player like that. To be fair with you, but the deal's done now. We can't go back on it. If that makes, and we've also got the 20-minute sell-on clause. I would rather a buyback clause over a sell-on clause, but. Again,
that has just been a weird transfer altogether. That has. We only signed him last season, didn't we? And he was built up, and then all of a sudden he's gone. That's just.
When we gave 12.5 million for him as a 16-year-old at Hajduk Split, right? He smashed it in Poland, smashed it in Belgium, smashed it at Hamburg with Westerlo, with Devine, I think it was, or was it Donnelly? And then I'm thinking he's the best defender at his age I've ever seen. And then you're getting critics saying, "Oh yeah, but he ain't done it at the Premier League." Well, everybody's gone, he's done it. But we are where we are. We've got good money for him, right? Let's be fair for a kid.
I think at the end of the day, whichever players go and whichever players come in, I think De Zerbi has earned the right to choose who he wants to let go and who he wants to bring in, because
On
he
that,
kept us.
good
It's
point.
because of him we're still in the Premier League this season.
I mean, Poch got rid of players I like. I love Dawson and all that. You see him come and go. I think in Poch, we got rid of 35 players in 5.5 seasons that Poch was with the club, right? So favourites are going to go, right? And we move on, you know, because we do get emotionally attached to players, and like we haven't been the ruthless as we should be. You know, Ray might not get emotionally attached. Right?
I don't. I absolutely don't. I refuse to get emotionally attached. As far as I'm concerned, they're playing assets. My parasocial relationships with footballers at my football club, and it's my football club. Yeah, they are playing assets at my football club, and my parasocial relationship with footballers was broken in 2001. It was a very long time ago.
So, Si, we're looking at getting like under Reigns Conservatives, 100 mil plus without selling Richie. Well,
I think the most important thing, Adrian, is not the money. The most important thing is not the money. The money is not important. The money is absolutely it's a very, very, very secondary
it's important
issue.
on the books.
No, the most important thing is that we get these players off of our squad list and we get better players in. That's the most important thing.
Well, on that,
we've got plenty of money.
Players, as it's quiet on the transfer front, I think we're getting Savino, just gut instinct, no other reason. But then do you guys think that as it's quiet, look, the recruitment team can't be sitting on the laurels. I mean, what do they do all season, right? So Moyeson's done well so far to sign these deals off, right? So do you actually thinking we're working on deals to get rid of these?
Yes.
To finance Krupi, perhaps, Savino?
No. We're getting rid of players.
There for those players without sales, but
no. We're getting rid of players because,
don't they? Let's be fair.
Right now, we're getting rid of players. They have to get rid of players because we're over our non-homegrown quota. So they have to get rid of some of the non-homegrown players. That's where we are. So that list includes Vicario, Romero, right? Richarlison, Sarr. You've got to include Bergvall and Tell are both currently under 21, but they will be non-homegrown next season. So you may as well get them off the list. You may as well get rid of them now as well. So that's why they needed to take a pause on the acquisitions and get some players out, like Dragusin. Dragusin was a great sale. That was absolutely fantastic. It is because they can't just keep buying non-homegrown players. You go and buy Krupi as a non-homegrown player. You go and buy Liao, non-homegrown player. Yeah, so it goes on. It becomes one of the 17. But at the moment, we've got more than 17. So at the moment, at some point, they needed to pause on getting players in, and bring the number of non-homegrown players internally within the club down. Otherwise, you end up in a Chelsea position like they were last season, where they created that bomb squad, where they had players that they literally couldn't list.
Jack, you mentioned Osimhen. I've watched him on videos. What's questionable with me, that Napoli side that won the league, they got rid of Carrera, Rapswell, whatever his name is, and they got rid of Osimhen. They thought that side, disintegrate somehow. Why do you go as your Osimhen? Why do you go to Turkey? Unless it's just for the tax-free money. Why didn't he go to another club? This is what gets me with him. So if you like him for his style, fair enough. Would you take him over Krupi, or would you take Krupi, or what?
Well, that's the question, isn't it? I mean, Osimhen isn't Premier League proven.
Let me throw a player I like in as well, right? Who everybody seems to be dismissing, but the rumours I've heard from a different source is that they want Krupi, right? But this is the guy they're looking at second. Vlahovic, 94 goals in 221 games, scored 68 in 160. They're not bad numbers, are they? I like this player, but I've noticed to liking him. But I've liked him for a few seasons. I've got to be honest.
Yeah, and that's probably the only reason why they have Vlahovic on their radar as well as Krupi. If they can't get Krupi, they can get Vlahovic on a free. He is currently a free agent striker. Now, there is a few strikers that are free agents at the moment. You've got Dybala as well, who's now a free agent. We tried going in for him years ago. Didn't really work out. He went to Juventus, he went to Roma, and then now he's a free agent from there. And there's loads of other forwards that are free agents at the moment. But this one is the only one that makes sense. Like, his numbers are, for a 20-something-year-old at the moment, at this moment in time, they're really, really good. Really, really good stats. I don't know how well he will do in the Premier League. And again,
we don't have any foreign player, do we?
Yeah, but exactly. We don't
player.
have any of them that haven't played in the Premier League at all. So that's probably where Krupi falls into that, because he had 13 goals this season or something along that after 10 number. So he's still young. He's not Premier League proven fully, but he's sort of proved himself why he should be a starting striker this whole season. So that's why we're probably going a bit more heavier for him than anyone else. But if that,
by the way, for the 300 of you watching that are brilliant or listening, I get most of my stats off AI, but I do go to other sources as well. But AI is usually tapped in to databases anyway, so this is where I get them from. Because I know at the end of the show, Rain will bring a spreadsheet up and show me if I'm wrong or something like that. Yeah.
The thing that I've got two worries about Vlahovic.
Go on.
Two worries. The first worry is he's currently a free agent, and he's not being snapped up, and I do worry that we don't know stuff that other people do know.
Finance, so let me fill you on that. What I heard was he's willing to take the drop in wages to 150, 160k a week. We'd obviously give him 200, right? But that's not the issue. The issue is because he's a free agent. If you know you're worth 60 mil, you might want a 40 million pound signing on fee, and your agent might want 10 mil. That is the difference. You don't get them for free. When people think, well, wait, it doesn't work that. These players get a big lump signing on fee. That's, I think, there's been talks, I think, with his reps, because his reps obviously want to make money. So it's a question of the finances, Rain, isn't it, at the end of the day? You can drop your wages. If you're guaranteed a big chunk of money up front, that covers what your 300 grand a week would have been over the time you're at the club, you know?
Yeah, and let's be fair. I mean, you said about Osman sort of going to Turkey for money, but let's be fair, right? For a lot of these guys, this is generational money. This is money that they're going to make, and their kids and their grandkids are not going to have to work. And whether that's good for the kids or grandkids, that's a debate. But that's, you know, we still do that, right? The other thing that worries me about Vlahovic is his record at Juventus actually isn't brilliant. His record at Fiorentina was fantastic. At one point, it was almost 1-1 at one goal in one game in Serie A. But at Juventus, it's dropped right off. And yes, whilst we all remember the free scoring goal scorer, you know, 68 and 168, that's 1 in 3. So that's, you know, it's 1 in 2.8 or something. So that's not really what we're after. You know, what we're after is a 2 in 3. We're after somebody who's going to come and is going to get 15 to 20 goals. 20 goals is 20 goals in 38 games, right? So that's, you know, we're looking for somebody, and they're going to miss 8 to 10 for some reason. So that's 2 in 3. That's 2 in 3. That's what Igor Thiago got last season. He got 22 in 38 potential games.
Well, these are the main protagonists that we have been linked with. I've got loads of left field ones if we had more time on the show, but which, you know, they're just going to be.
I actually need to head.
Right. Okay. Fine. So, yeah, I mean, Rashford's another one on big money, guys, isn't he? And I think he's going to have to lower his expectations, because Barcelona don't want him. Who else is going to give him 300 grand a week? He wants ECL football. None of the Premier League ECL clubs are going to take him. Right? Bayern don't need him. Barcelona don't want him. Atletico Madrid won't pay that sort of money. Real Madrid don't want him. He's you know, sometimes wages can be a rod for your own back with these players. I think they're going. If he wants to go, and then Man United want to reported 40 mil for him, and you've got to pay him those wages. That's over 100 mil contract. I mean, we did it with younger players like that we brought in. I think Rashford would be taken. Yeah, he's proven. Is he an upgrade? Yeah, but it's a question of like he's going to have to. I think you'll see it with some of these players. I mean, would he go back to Villa? Things like that. I mean, I just don't see. He's not getting that wage. Even Spurs wouldn't. I don't think Spurs would pay him that anyway. They might give him. Well, then you've got. If you can get him, you could pay him a top money if Man United really drop their transfer fee, the reputed transfer fee. We don't know what they really want, but they seem to want him off their books, don't they? Because of the wages, I think.
Maybe, but we all know how Jim Ratcliffe is with making people work in his kitchen, not have free meals anymore, making them pay for it. But the players can now have all that money that get their free meals, and they can eat literally wherever the fuck they want. So we know how stingy of a twat that guy can be. So it does make sense that he wants to get him off their books. But
Rain, you got to jump. You want to have a final say?
We're paying Tonali $270 a week.
Oh, we don't.
So
yeah.
So we've clearly opened up the taps on our wages. I cannot. The Leal links make a lot of sense to me. In what we want to do, I'm not sure. I love Krupi, but I'm just not sure how he fits in. I actually, of this lot, I mean, obviously here we've got two forward, three wingers, right? Because I really see Rashford now as an inside forward, and he played basically as a winger for Barcelona. That's where he's now sort of cemented. So we've got Krupi, and out of Krupi and Vlahovic, I'd take Vlahovic because I want a 9. I want wingers who cross the ball, and I want a 9 to either hold the ball up and lay it off, or to come onto crosses and put the ball in the back of the net. And if we have Maddison and Xavi as 10s, operating on just outside of the box, taking shots or trying to thread through balls, and that works for me. So Leal sort of makes a lot of sense to me.
Well, on Leal, just to inform the 320 of you listening to us or watching us on various platforms, which is absolutely fantastic. Thank you for your support. I watched a video link the other day from Jim of Oso Spurs, and on there they were going on about between 2019 and 24 the issues Leal's had at the football club, arguments with managers, arguments with teammates, leaving training early, things like that. Now, I don't know the full circumstances of why this happened. It's not always the player's fault. Something can happen, right? Stuff like that. On that basis, I would look, Leal would be an upgrade. That's not a question. His talent's not an upgrade. Didn't make the Portuguese first team squad, right? Only come on as subs. That tells you something. If I'm going for Leal, though, Rain, my precaution would be based on the fact that we take him on the loan with no option to buy. Mendes is pushing him, right? We know what Mendes is like as an agent. So, okay, you want to come, you want a new challenge. You've burnt all your bridges at AC Milan. Now come to us and prove it. I like loans to buy with no obligation to buy. If it was an obligation to buy a proven Premier League player, that's different. But that's less of a risky option. There's no jeopardy involved in it. If he doesn't shape up, see you later. But yeah. I think Savino here as well. You can come back at me, Rain, before you go. Have to go. I think Savino is the easiest deal to do here. We've done so much work behind the scenes on this. You might not like the player until the expression. I do. I like him because he's left-footed on the left wing. He'll go down at the corner flag and stretch the width of the pitch. I like him for that, right? So, but come back. Have you say?
Yeah, he's another one, isn't he? Mm-hmm. Why is he not being snapped up?
Because he wants to play at Rust, Rain.
No, he doesn't want to play for us. He wants to play. He wants to play for Man City, but Man City have decided that he's not good enough, and
Well,
I don't see why he would be good enough for us if he's not good enough for Man City. To be honest, that's
even
where I
Poland
am.
fell off a cliff there, and he struggles to get game time. That squad's so good. They've got Docker. They've got so many options. So
Yes, they went out and got a better player than Savinho because
they brought
Savinho didn't cut
Cherky in,
it.
didn't they? They brought Semenyo in
Semenyo,
as well.
yeah.
So now you got Docker and Semenyo on your wings, right? Come on.
You and me are not going to agree on this
Okay.
until we see it with our own eyes, because I just don't see what you see in Savinho. What I see, and I've said it before, and who was it? It was Martin who picked it up. I see Savinho as another Brian Hill, somebody who looks very good in La Liga, who looks very, very good in La Liga. That's where all his numbers are. All his numbers are in La Liga. That's where, and for a lower team who did it, and he's come to the Premier League, and he's not a Premier League winger. That's just what I say. I'm not saying he's a bad player.
No,
I'm saying that he's not a Premier League winger, and we shouldn't take him. It's too much of a risk.
I don't think he's a risk. I'm concerned about goals, as I am throughout the whole of the team, right? But he's not a risk as a footballer, and he would be an upgrade. That's my opinion. No, you can have yours. That's fair enough. No arguments there. Sire, any of these?
Anyway, I'll speak to you later, Adrian.
Yeah, thanks for coming on.
Okay.
Thanks for coming on. We'll get you back Sunday week.
For me, Adrian, it'd be, if I had to choose two out there, be Leao and Vlahovic, I think. For me, same as Rain was saying, I want a central striker. So that's why I'd choose Vlahovic, to be honest. And I mean, I'm sort of with you with Savinho. I wouldn't mind him being coming to the club. I think, he's he's good with both feet. So, you never really know which way he's going to go. The fullback won't know if he's going to go on the inside or the outside. But, I mean, Rafael Leao is the other one that I'd have him just over Savinho, really. So
on that, just for a second, I mean, because we don't really know. I mean, Bergvall was playing left midfield, right? So on the left, sort of winger, progressive ball carrier, basically on the left, right? So, and if Tell and Bergvall go, this is what we don't know. Where we're in unknown territory about who's going, who's staying. If Tell goes, yeah, get Leao and Savinho, get Leao on loan, buy Savinho. He'd probably be the cheapest buy out of these lot anyway, right? Not that the money should come into it if the player's good enough, but he would be I think he's the easiest deal to do because we've done so much groundwork. And then Krupi, I watched him. I mean, he does what I like to see in videos. When people say, when you watch a video of a striker, or players, what are you looking for? They always look good. With strikers and midfielders, different with defenders. I'm looking for players with vision, who move the ball quickly, who can make things happen. I mean, out of the blue, like Kane could or Son could, players like Salah. So players like that who can make things happen. We haven't got that in our team. Yeah. We haven't got that, right? We rely on other teams making mistakes or something to get a goal here and there and things like that. It's not good enough. You got, you got about, I think Rashford's a difficult deal to do. There's rumours. I don't get something. We don't want to come to Spurs and all that. Look, these are footballers that want to earn a living. He's going to go where he can get the best deal, probably. And I just don't see it being in a Tier 1 elite club. I don't. And I don't class us as a Tier 1 elite club yet, but we're at the level 4 of Rashford. So Villa, though. He was there before. But they've got such big wage issues at Villa. I don't see him going there. Newcastle will probably take him. Yeah.
That's unless they get gazumped by someone else right at the end. It just seems a norm with Newcastle at the moment when they're interested in a player. They get gazumped by another Premier League club right near the end.
I just don't see him being an attractive option.
I mean, there must be a reason why Barcelona. I thought he'd done well at Barcelona. I thought he was going to make the move permanent. They decided to go for Gordon instead of him. Man United won him out. I just think there's something there with him. If he come, that'd be great. You know what I mean? He's an upgrade, but for the other clubs not wanting to make the move permanent with him, there's got to be a reason why. Like you said, Adrian, it might be the wages that he demands.
It is. It's always finances, isn't it? Doing a deal.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I Leo and Vlahovic for me. So,
and Jack, I mean, before we finish in a few minutes, I mean, I don't really want to hear any noise about defenders that we might be interested in the bullshit media out there, because we need to fix this up front, don't we? And I'd like 2 wingers brought in. And if Tell went, I like the look of Tell, but he's another one we're going to have to wait another year or 2 for. When I watched the new Odebert and the French under-21s, they're fantastic. I mean, even on Odebert, when he comes back, you get money for him. I mean, he was at the PSG Academy. He went to Burnley when Company was manager there. He was raving about Odebert, and I've seen him play for us, and I thought, oh, you look good. But we're waiting. It's consistency again, isn't it? And now De Zerbi's gone, fuck that. I want players in that are oven ready, right? And he's got them so far. Everyone he's brought in, they're fit for purpose, right? So whether other fans like them or not, it's purely subjective. But yeah, so
yeah, it's a bit of a weird one. I mean, I also like Odebert. I think he's played quite well, and I do like the look of him. Obviously, it's upsetting for him to have his injury.
And he's got an eye for goal. He's a winger who's got an eye for goal.
Oh, 100%. He's got an eye to try and beat his man and get into that position where he can get a goal. He definitely has that. Tell has it a bit, but he's sort of lacked that bit of confidence. To be fair with you, I think he probably feels like I've been put in left wing because there's no one else. You know what I mean? That's why he's probably lacking a little bit of confidence in that sort of area. And I can see it. You can see it in his game. You can see it everywhere. And like you said, for the under-21s for France, they both played amazing with each other, but that League Cup as well. But out of the people in that list, I think I have to echo it with Sai. I'd rather have Vlahovic than the Al. To be fair, I want that 9 player. I want him there. You know what I mean? We need that sort of, not just a 9, but also we need a technical striker would be great, and also someone who's a bit of a target man in the box as well. Like, we're not really known for swinging a ball in and getting headers out. Like, we haven't had that talent for ages, and I'm talking about when Kane left. He was good at getting up close balls and getting headers into the box and scoring goals like that, but we haven't had that for ages. Like, Richarlison can sort of do it, but the only time I ever seen him do it was not really a header; it was a scissor kick in the first game. You know what I mean? That was about as much as acrobatic as any player on that pitch has been. And that's attacking-wise. Defensive-wise, we can head the ball all day long and play keepy-ups with it. But when it comes to actually heading towards goal and getting a finish out of it, it's just not been really great this whole season and last season as well. But, yeah, I think Vlahovic, it's another option over Krupi. But I think everyone at Spurs now is like, oh, we've got this money coming in, we want the sexier name, we want the sexier name coming to our club, so everyone's going to want Krupi over Vlahovic. But if you want someone who's at the age where he's quite proven as a striker and then he has decent numbers, then you want to go with the person who has decent numbers, right? And the person who knows how to, is very clinical. It will take him a while to adapt to Premier League with how quick paced it is over the Italian league, but I think he can probably pick that up quite quickly, I hope. Well, everyone thinks that for every player that comes from overseas, and it doesn't always happen straight away. But yeah, it's going to be a weird one. I think we need to stop thinking about fullbacks and centre backs and midfielders now. We've done that bit for now. I think we need to sort out our forwards, get rid and bring in at the same time, and then if we need to iron out some other places, then iron out some other places. Don't just stick to those 2 areas.
Right, we finished on pre-season. The reason I've gone on a lot longer is because we've got 330 viewing this on various platforms, which is fantastic, right? Like I said earlier, we've only had 1 thumbs up, guys. There's 323 of you. I mean, please, if you can, it only takes a second. The red subscribe button's in the bottom right-hand corner. We can't see it. We're live. if you hit that, and like if you fancy subscribing to the channel, we pride ourselves here on bringing you good content. And so many of you have stayed with us for the length of this show, so you must like what you're hearing from the excellent panelists, right? So yeah, so subscribe to the channel, give the video a thumbs up, please, and yeah. And our shows go out usually every Friday and Sunday. We might throw some in midweek. We did before when we had matches midweek, but we haven't got Europe next season, so yeah, it just makes more work for us here. Yeah, so their next show will go out Sunday at 10 o'clock because we usually like to attract the American and Canadian audience. So it's 5 o'clock East Coast over there. At that time it goes out, and our Sunday show go out at 9 o'clock. So now you know. Spread the word about Spurs Diehards. We're a very young group. We've only been going a couple of years, but I'm so pleased with the way we're going. We're excellent. But I want to finish on with the guys' thoughts on pre-season. We've lost Vaskovic, which I've got over because of a science. But are we hoping to see the likes of Lancashire and Mikey Moore pre-season, Si? We've got a lot of games coming up, friendlies coming up. You're muted.
I'm looking forward to pre-season, Adrian. Can't wait for the season, the season to start and everything. I was looking at the training photos because obviously some of the players have started back. So I think it was yesterday I was on the Tottenham website looking at the training photos and stuff. Saw Rhoda Bear there in the gym, Madison, etc. So yeah, it was good, and yeah, I'll be watching every pre-season game. And look forward to seeing all these new players getting embedded into the team and seeing, it'll be interesting to see Deserby ball if you want, you know what I mean? Because I think what we saw those last 7 games of last season is not what we're going to see this season. I think it'll be a lot more attack-minded and stuff. So, yeah, I'm really looking forward to the season. And, yeah, it'll be good. To me, pre-season is always just about, warm-ups. The players warming up. I remember a fair few years back, we had a pre-season where I think Darren Bent was our striker and he scored like 14 goals in pre-season. I was like, wow, can't wait. We went undefeated in pre-season and it looked so exciting. And then once the league started, Darren Bent didn't score for about 4 months or something. And we were struggling down towards the bottom. So the result-wise, it never means anything to me on pre-season. But it's just them getting the knowledge of how to play Deserby ball, which is the most important from pre-season to me, to be fair, Adrian.
Jack, do you want to see Mikey Moore given a chance? Left wing, Lancashire given a chance down the middle?
Well, I'd love to see Viskovic have that chance, but yeah, like you said, I'm over it now. It's been done, happened, and with the way that we got 50 mil out of Brighton for him, we've only paid pretty much £2 million for Van Hecker, so I think that's a fucking bargain of a steal in all fairness, to be fair. But like we said, it's not about the money; it's the players that we have. But I'm going to hopefully try and get to the game that's in the Spurs stadium. Tickets aren't too bad, to be fair. So, and there's still a load of them up there. So I'm going to try and get into that pre-season game since I'm not that far away from the stadium. But do I want to see him get some time? Yeah, I do. Because if Mikey Moore is going to get that time and he proves himself to Deserby, that means we have a position that we don't really need to 100% worry about, but you still want to get experience in the wing positions in there. Because having just the youngsters of Tell and Mikey Moore at left wing is not going to do us much favours. But so getting a left wing will be great. But having them both as a rotation, you can have one time, one the other time. That's also a good thing. And for Will Lancashire as well, he definitely proved himself quite decently at Oxford last season. So I think if Richarlison goes, we get another striker, and we've got that striker whoever we get in Solanke, and then Lancashire as a backup as well. And we know he can finish. He's got all right numbers when it comes to the academy and going out on loan. But I think his time will definitely come where he'll be probably starting as a Spurs striker. It's just all a matter of when and around that time when he does. But yeah, pre-season is always about getting the youngsters in, giving them some game time, giving them a run out so Deserby can see what they're like. see if he likes the look of him, see if he wants him. I mean, there's already talks of Lancashire getting pushed up to the first team now anyway. But I think this pre-season, if he does use him, he
We
does.
turned down 20 mil. Mind you, we turned 20 mil down for Mikey Moore for Chelsea. That was last season, though. We turned 20 mil down for Lancashire. So
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I want them to get a decent run out. Because if it comes to the point where they do go back out on loan, no one wants to buy a ship. No one wants to bring out a ship player over on loan. So that also gives them another inkling as well. And I don't think either of them are crap players at all whatsoever. I think they're both definitely future Spurs players, 100%. It's just if you can keep a hold of them, because obviously now we've sold Devine, sold Harvey White ages to Stephen J ages ago. Now he's at
I think Ashley Phillips will go as well.
Yes, that's another youngster.
He's not going to get in the centre back, is he?
No, he's not, to be honest with you.
In a few years' time, we might have Junaid Byfield come through. So I think there's no short of quality as academy. And it's going to start playing for itself.
I think we need to also give Luca Williams-Barnett a go in pre-season as well, to be fair.
Yeah, Tynan Williams, but he's young, isn't he? And so with Tynan Williams, who's Tynan, the left winger. I think it's
I know who you're talking about. Yeah, it's Williams, but I can't remember.
Yeah, it's Tynan, Tynan or Tynan. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, any last words, mate? Good to have you back on the show. I know you've been busy.
Yeah, no, thanks, Adrian. No, said just looking forward to the season one. Little obviously after next Sunday, the World Cup final, be a little bit of break from watching football, which I think will make my wife very happy.
We'll have 2 more signings by then to talk about.
Yeah, well, hopefully we will. So yeah, or
and a few exits,
some players, but I just want the season to start. I hate this. Once the World Cup finishes, I hate just waiting. So, looking forward to it. Renewed my season tickets and stuff. So, looking forward to a great season.
After all these deals, Si, are you looking forward to the Spurs fans carrying Vinay Venkatesham and Johan Lang shoulder high around the stadium?
Yeah. I think
we're going to get all the credit to Moyson, though. He's going to get all the credit. Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, they've lived up to their letters to the fans that they sent at the end of the season. And these 2 17th place finishes have scared them basically. And these are the results we're getting: the Tonali, the Fernandez break. I've said previously that we would break our transfer record twice this year. This summer window, I was confident of it, and then we have. So, and I still wouldn't be surprised if we've got one that could surpass Tonali, but we'll have to wait and see.
Anything else, Jack? No.
Just to echo what Simon said,
I think everyone's looking forward to the pre-season. I'm looking forward to seeing what the final shape of our squad will be. It's what I'm looking forward to. Right, I'm going to end the show there. 330 of you on various platforms. This is why I carried on probably half hour, 40 minutes longer than I normally do. But that's the view, guys. So in return, please hit that red subscribe button. Give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. And big up to everyone in the chat and your questions. We've seen them on the screen. I haven't had time. It's been such a good show. I haven't had time to go through them. Some shows we do, sometimes we don't. All depends how they go. I want to thank all my guests. You know who you are. They'll all be invited back at some time in the future, right? And with that, thanks to you all. Thanks to everyone who watches us on playback. We get a lot of views on playback. I'm going to put this up. Did I put it up or no? No, that one. Right, you can find us in these 3 places. Obviously, like the YouTube channel is there, apart from hitting the subscribe button. Then we're on XCOM. We've got about 5,000 on now. And on Facebook, we've got 14,600 on there. Shame we can't get them on these, right? So, yeah. With that, I'm going to play you out with some music I made. Right.
We are Tottenham till we die. We are Tottenham till we die. Spurs die hearts, heart and soul. We are Tottenham till we die. We are Tottenham till we die. diehards, heart and soul. We are Tottenham till we die. We are Tottenham till we die. Spurs diehards, heart and soul. Really white and navy blue. We are Tottenham till we die. We are Tottenham till we die. Spurs diehards, heart and soul. Lily white and navy blue.